This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done. This is the story of the one who, as a maintenance specialist for a historic high-rise, knows that vintage charm historically needs constant attention. Which is why when it's time to upgrade turn-of-the-century mechanicals, they turn to Grainger. With easy access to 1 million-plus products and the scale to deliver when and where you need them, the right tools and supplies are never far away. So the one can keep that vintage building running like new. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Unlock your dream property with Meeks Realty Group, where Rich the Realtor makes real estate dreams a reality. Whether it's residential or commercial, we've got Charleston to Huntington covered. Your key to exceptional real estate experiences start here. Meeks Realty Group. Contact us at meeks.us.
From the studios of WVRC Media, the country, the United States of America, the state, West Virginia, the city, Charleston. This is the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live. And your host.
What we've got here is failure to communicate.
He's kind of a big deal.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Dave Allen.
Hey, folks, say good morning to you. Good Friday morning, and welcome to the show. Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony the Taylor, text 304-935-5008. We do the show from the Par-Mar Store studio. If there's not a Par-Mar store near you now, there will be soon. The Dave Allen Show is also brought to you by Thornhill Auto Group, including Thornhill Ford Lincoln on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Come check out the F-150 in action at Thornhill. Shop anytime, thornhillford.net, or stop by US 119 in Chapmanville. Phone calls to the show is service of Biggly, Piggly, Wiggly. Texting services provided by West Virginia's finest men's store, Tony the Taylor, on Virginia Street, where today, 11 a.m. till 6 p.m., Tony the Taylor presenting the Brax Pants Holiday Trunk Show. Free lunch provided by DT Prime. I am 100% there, because if there's anything more that I like than fancy britches, it's food from DT Prime. So I'm going to have to run down there and check that out. Coming up a little bit later on the show, Dr. Casey Sachs from BridgeValley will be stopping by. Something that I've meaning to do for a while is talk to our buddy from down the hall, Robb Reel from our sister station 96.1 KWS, about his recent walk from Charleston to Morgantown that he did for WVU Children's Hospital. We checked in with him, every day on the route, but I want to see how he is. I want to see if his calves will stop burning. Plus, we're going to talk to him about an event we're going to be doing next week here, less than a week away, actually. It's next Thursday, the annual Turkey Drop. All of our stations will be collecting frozen turkeys to be given to those in need this holiday season, courtesy of the folks at Mountain Mission and also Cozumel Express. And all of our stations, again, are involved in that. We'll talk about that. Plus, Hannah Gardner's here with our Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association. I do want to spend some time talking about high school football tonight. There's a problem. There is no high school football tonight. Chris Lawrence, who normally would be raring to go to cover the Hurricane. Did I just say Hurricane?
You did.
I live in Hurricane, and I just called it Hurricane. Chris Lawrence is here. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing fine. And other than the fact I can't apparently pronounce the town that I live in. And Tom Bragg, who would be doing the Herbert Hoover game tonight, is here. How are you, sir?
Good morning, Dave.
All right. So what are you guys going to do tonight? You just going to hang out, or?
I think I'm going to take my wife to dinner for the first time this fall.
Oh, so, that'd be nice. That'd be nice.
First Friday night free in a while.
KFC, here come the Lawrences.
No, that's actually a Thursday night tradition there. So
all right, I got you. I guess. What about you, Tom?
I might watch the Tyson fight tonight.
So okay. And
just as a spectacle, not so much for the boxing, but just the spectacle.
I was a big boxing fan growing up. I just kind of got out of it at one point. And this Logan Paul, I guess he's a YouTube guy or something.
I guess some sort of internet celebrity, social media personality. He's been a bit everywhere.
He didn't really fit the mold of a YouTube guy. When I heard that, I was like, that guy's a YouTuber?
Well, he looks like somebody, he looked like a 2-year-old just took a marker all over himself, and but anyway, what's going to happen in the fight tonight, guys?
I don't know. Mike Tyson's an old man now, but man, watching some of those training videos, I wouldn't want to get hit by him right now. So
I was thinking the same thing. Jeff and I were talking about that on the morning news. I didn't really when I heard that card, I was like, well, Tyson's going to walk away with that thing. He'll knock him out in one round. It didn't really dawn on me until I heard Weekly breaking it down with his fight guy yesterday that Tyson's 58. And I was like, well, okay, that does make a difference because I'm 56, and I ain't what I was in the 80s. But Tyson's a different deal, man. He's still ripped and he's as good as he once was.
Yeah.
So
and he's an actual crazy person. I wouldn't want to get in the ring with him.
Is.
You know,
Yeah.
100%. All right, let's talk high school football. We have no playoff action, and I have had Fred on every day this week in the 9:50 slot to talk about it. He is not. I told him yesterday he could have the day off. Then I find out he's on Hoppy. It's coming up this morning. So, anything new in the last 24 hours, Chris? I'll start with you.
Well, they have submitted the case to the Supreme Court. The SSAC has appealed the two competing injunctions from Wood and Mason counties, and then they folded in. Fred told me this morning that they had added the one from Berkeley County that restored the wins of Spring Mills, which all have an impact on what the final standings will be. And I guess at this point, it comes down. It boils down to the SSAC needs to be told by the Supreme Court which set of rankings they need to use to set the playoffs. The ones that were set at the beginning of the season or the ones that were set by the Wood County judges ruling at the end of the season. And that will determine, hopefully, the end of this. And I guess they'll have to figure out, did Spring Mills play an ineligible player, or as the lower court judge ruled, sided with the Spring Mills people that this guy that was was declared ineligible, but the SSAC should have been eligible because he was a homeless person, and there was an act that the federal law that says you have to remove barriers for homeless kids to get an educational opportunity, and that includes extracurricular. So that's what they were standing on, which and I guess that's just a judgment call. And if Spring Mills, if the appeal is not granted and the lower court's ruling is upheld, then Spring Mills will be 9-1, and that will change the Quad A standings and the Quad A postseason schedule. Everybody will have a different team they're going to have to play, even from the first two sets of regulation or of pairings. So hopefully, and I don't think there's anything been set yet, but hopefully we'll get a ruling on that sometime today. And if that's the case, we'll have some predictability about what's going to happen, and we can get ready to play next weekend.
Okay.
So,
Tom, how do you fix this?
A time machine.
Okay.
I think you go back. I think the first little domino is several years ago when the powers that be sort of caved to the people that were complaining about the Catholic schools are winning too many basketball tournaments. We got to go to 4 classes. We got to give these smaller schools a chance. And basketball worked. It wasn't ideal, but it worked with 4 classes in the time period they did it. I think football and some of the other sports could have even worked in the expanding classes, but the big mistake this year, I think, was back in August when they moved everybody around right before the season started. Schedules are already made, and you run into this problem with bonus points. Teams coming down from Quad A into Triple A. The MSAC is full of those. If you Huntington High or Hurricane, as an example, you've got Capital on your schedule. Well, they went down. You've got South Charleston on your schedule. Well, they went down. And the points just aren't there. That's really where they messed this up. My time machine would go back to August and just say, just get through this season. Maybe we can figure it out at the end. And it wasn't like people didn't see this coming in August when they made this change. It's been kind of the talk throughout the season. It's like, we might get through the regular season, but the playoffs are going to be a mess. And here we are, and the playoffs are a mess.
Indeed, they are.
Can I interject here?
Yeah, Matt Murphy here.
Tom Bragg just made a really good point. Here's kind of my issue with all of this, though. All these folks that filed these injunctions, why didn't they do this back in August when they first decided that they were going to change the point system in the classes in football?
Because many of them didn't realize they were going to be out of the playoffs.
Well, see, but that's the thing. It's like you get to the end of the season, and you're like, oh, well, we could maybe be in there. We're going to take this to the court. You know, hindsight is 20/20. Why did they? If they had an issue with it, they should have done it from the very beginning, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would 100% agree. We are doing, though, high school game night tonight. I told Fred yesterday, I said, they're going to go back in the time machine this week in 1978 in the playoffs. That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do tonight. But that's going to air with Fred and Dave at 7:30 tonight. We had a 9:30. We have a text here that said, is anyone going to broadcast the high school playoff games tomorrow, radio or television? I mean,
well, we're not. I gave it some thought, but we have Mountaineer coverage on, and that would come right in the middle of it, and there's just too many unknowns there. We can't really plan for that if we're not certain that they're going to be played.
Exactly.
And I'm not certain that they're going to be played.
Yeah, I'm not either.
And I can't really commit the station to something like that when it's potentially going to get canceled this
right, and you
afternoon.
know the Mountaineers are going to play
exactly.
tomorrow. It's a big day for the Mountaineers
Now, had we gone ahead with what we had last week, yes, we would have moved the Mountaineers over to another station, and we would have put the Hurricane game on Saturday afternoon on WCHS. But that would be because we had certainty there, and we have done all those games. This one's just kind of been sprung on us, and could we do it? Probably, but it would not be easy to manipulate things around here to get it to that point. And since I don't have any certainty that we're going to play that game, I can't.
Well, hopefully by this time next week when I have you two here, we'll be talking about what Hoover's going to be doing and what Hurricane's going to be doing in the playoffs.
Let's hope.
That's the hope. All right, Chris, what do you got on West Virginia Outdoors tomorrow morning?
Well, it's we're 2 weeks away from the opening of buck season. I'll have on the head of the Deer Project, Brett Skelly from the West Virginia DNR, and we'll pick his brain about his forecast for the upcoming season. And I got another cool story about a big buck killed on public land in Webster County, and it was a monster buck. And you don't hear about a ton of those, but there's still some big bucks up in that national forest. If you get back in there deep enough, you can find them. So we'll talk about that.
All right, Chris, we'll be listening tomorrow morning. Enjoy the dinner with the wife tonight.
We'll do that indeed.
All right. Tom, I'll let you hang out with me here a little bit because we're going to try to give away a dog. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you part by Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm. Let's bring in Hannah Gardner now from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association with this week's Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week. Hannah, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine. I got Tom Bragg here with me as well. We are going to tell you the story of a dog by the name of Barnabas. And as always, Barnabas, or our Pet of the Week's picture, posted to Dave Allen Radio on Facebook and at Dave A70 on Twitter. Tell Tom, myself, and all the listeners about Barnabas.
All right. Well, Barnabas is an 11-month-old man. He is very, very, very sweet. He's very laid back, and he does walk well on the leash. From what we do know, I think that he was a stray, but I think we ended up finding out, stuff about him and his past and everything. I don't know if we have, official documents of anything, but we were told that he is a registered Japanese Akita. We may have those papers, but, however, I'm not sure if we actually do or not. I'll have to double-check on that, because I'm not exactly sure where that came from. But I do know that we know he's a Japanese Akita. He is very, very good. He's best with gentler dogs as friends, as he's not a very hyperactive man himself. So he likes somebody as a friend who, if there's other animals in the house, who is going to be more laid back, might play a little bit, but he's laid back himself, even though he's 11 months old. He is around 58 pounds. And he, like I said, he prefers calmer dogs, but of course we always advise caution when introducing them to other animals, kids, anything like that. And we have noticed in our care that he seems to be okay with kids. However, again, always advise caution. I always say that you should be able to teach your kids manners just the same as you should be able to teach your dogs manners, vice versa. So just definitely be cautious of that regardless of who you're introducing them to. He's a very, very good boy, and he's not fixed yet, but he will be. So if you come to adopt or if you come to foster or however you come up to see any of the dogs, then come on up and take him out for a walk or anything like that and take him home because he is a good boy.
He's a good-looking dog, Tom.
Oh, yeah. Barnabas is a great-looking dog and a great name, too. I love that name, Barnabas.
I want to talk a little bit about that breed because I was talking to Leah, who's my office mate upstairs, and Leah and I were talking about the Japanese Akita. We're not trying to scare people away from those dogs, but they are, and I don't know a whole lot about them, it's a specific kind of person that can have those dogs. I mean, because they have a little bit, little bit of a different temperament from what I understand. Hannah, you're the expert, but they have a little bit of a different temperament than what the average dog does. Is that right?
Yes, they very much do. I encourage anyone who wants to come and visit with him or even ask questions about him to do your research before you come up and look at him or adopt him or anything like that, because you definitely got to know your breeds, especially when they are bigger breeds like that need more energy, need more attention, need more care, stuff like that. So definitely do your research before you come up. I personally am not the best person to ask about Akitas because I personally do not know much about them, but we do have an animal behaviorist up at the shelter. Her name is Julie, who would be more than willing and more than happy to give you any information that she does know and any handouts or resources on how to do any training or care for them.
So again, you can go over to my Facebook page, Dave Allen Radio, or at Dave A70 on X, and check out the picture of Barnabas. I know we're running short on time here. I did want to bring up the number of animals that you have there. Our good friends, I think, over at WOWK 13 did a story on it. You guys are just absolutely, Hannah, just overloaded with animals right now.
Yes, we absolutely are. I believe we have close to or at 400 animals in our care. That is in our shelter and foster home all together. Like, that is everything. It is a lot because a lot of people don't think that we also provide the care for foster animals. A lot of people think that they get that on their own, but we do provide the care for the foster animals. So they might be in a home, but we're still providing that care and the food and anything that they may need. So definitely come up if you want to foster, adopt, anything like that. I encourage it. I also encourage you to come on out and volunteer because we really, really need the help right now. And then, of course, we are still rocking with our Veterans Day special, so $11 for dogs over 6 months old, or free if you have your military ID and can show that to us.
All right. And I was about to mention that, but you jumped ahead of me, and that's good because I appreciate you mentioning that because we're a little bit short on time. That Veterans Day special is going to end. When did you say it ended?
I think it ends today. I think today is the last day.
That's what I thought. All right. And there's more information available on your social media. Hannah, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks a lot.
All right. Thank you.
Hannah Gardner from the Kanawha Charleston Humane Association with our Adopt Me Please Pet of the Week. Good looking dog, Mr. Bragg.
Oh, man. Japanese Akitas are beautiful dogs. But like you said, absolutely do your research. They're a particular breed. You got to know what you're dealing with.
Not a bad breed necessarily.
No,
they're just a little bit different.
But just a little bit different than your West Virginia brown dog.
Exactly. Barnabas is the dog's name. He is 11 months old. He is housebroken, registered Japanese Akita, very laid back, loves other gentle dogs. Please do your research, though, as we've been saying. Walks well on a leash, not fixed, but will be. I got the picture posted at Dave Allen Radio on Facebook and at Dave A70 on X, the artist formerly known as Twitter. Before I let you go, Tom Tex says, it was premature to go to court over the playoff issue. Courts can't make decisions on issues that may happen. The schools couldn't make any claim that their seeding was incorrect until the playoff schedule was known. Otherwise, you're asking the court to decide something that may never happen.
I suppose, but they just, again, my time machine theory, though, let's just go back and not make any of the changes in August, and I think we're fine. I think we're playing games tonight.
All right, well, hopefully we're going to be playing games next week. This thing's going to get in front of the Supreme Court.
Yes,
so
hopefully. And at this point, I just hope that we're playing games this time next week. Let's just get it done, guys.
I hope we don't just have you and Chris in here talking about, well, when I was in third grade, we've got to come up with something to talk about.
I could listen to Chris talk all day. Don't threaten me with a good time.
All right, man. Tom Bragg, I appreciate you being here, buddy.
Thank you, Dave.
Right, thanks a lot. Older adults should protect themselves against severe respiratory disease. Talk to your doctor about flu, COVID-19, and RSV vaccines. Risk less, do more. Get started at vaccines.gov, paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. We're going to take a break. Dr. Casey Sachs from BridgeValley is coming up. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Are you a physical therapy assistant and looking for an opportunity in orthopedics, wellness, and athletic care? If so, Generations Physical Therapy is offering flexible work hours and an upbeat atmosphere. With 7 convenient locations, Generations may have a job designed for you. Visit generationspt.com.
Calling all off-road warriors. Hey, it's Sydney, and it's time to step up to the starting line with the new Ford Bronco at Thornhill Ford Lincoln. Designed for the wild at heart, the Bronco's legendary 4x4 capability, GOAT modes, and removable doors and roof let you take the adventure anywhere. The Bronco is built for the journey. Gear up for your next great escape at Thornhill Ford Lincoln on the Thornhill Motor Mile. Visit us us at thornhillford.net or come by US 119 in Chapmanville. Step up to the starting line and let the adventure begin. Must qualify for all offers through Ford Financial. See Thornhill for all details.
Jarrett Construction is celebrating its 25th year in business, proudly serving the West Virginia community. They extend heartfelt thanks to their clients for their trust and support over the years. From schools and hospitals to car dealerships and apartments, Jarrett Construction has been dedicated to building quality projects that make a difference. Their commitment to excellence in the community remains unwavering. For all your construction needs, choose Jarrett Construction, where your vision becomes their mission. Visit jarrett-construction.com. Thank you for making their 25 years successful and impactful.
Welcome to Poca Valley, where we've been in business since 1908. Today, we serve Roane, Kanawha, Putnam, and surrounding counties. We believe you deserve banking that provides friendly customer service. For all of your financial needs, stop by one of our 8 convenient locations. Call us at 844-782-2651 or visit us online at PocaValleyBank.com. Poca Valley, where relationships matter.
Member FDIC.
$927, Bigley, Piggly Wiggly, hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor, text 304-935-5008. In the heart of West Virginia, there exists a profound force that goes beyond the realm of sports, transcending limitations and fostering a sense of belonging. Talking about Special Olympics. A remarkable initiative showcase of a latest episode of West Virginia Enriched in collaboration with Huntington stands as a testament to the power of determination, unity, and unwavering support. See a video highlighting the Special Olympics, Facebook.com/580 WCHS. We're going to talk to Robb Reel from our sister station 96.1 KWS coming up a little bit later on in the show. Kind of update you. He had that big walk to Morgantown that he did a couple of weeks ago. He's just now recovering from that, but Robb's a trooper. We got several things I want to talk to Robb about, including next Thursday here on our parking lot, 1111 here in Charleston. We are going to be teaming. All of our stations are working together for a turkey drop. We're asking our listeners, greatest listeners in the world, to drop off frozen turkeys anytime between 7 a.m. and 6 p.m. If you can't do the whole turkey, if you could just drop us off a cash donation, that'll be fine. Working with Mountain Mission on that to make sure that those in need get a turkey this Thanksgiving season. And as I said, we will accept cash. We'll be out there on the lot starting at 7 a.m. next Thursday, going all the way through 6 p.m. You'll see all of our stations out there, and I'll talk to Robb about that. Plus, anytime Mr. Reel and I get together, there's always fun and hilarity to ensue. So we'll talk to Robb a little bit later on. Speaking of fun, Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley's here. How are you?
Good morning, Dave. Great to see you. I'm wonderful.
Welcome to our new studio.
It's nice digs.
I keep throwing this out every time. I even said this to Shelley Moore Capito the other day. I said, it's kind of custom when you go to somebody's new home that you bring a gift.
Oh.
Like a fruit basket, bottle of wine.
You never drink the coffee I bring you, Dave.
Yes, I do. Of course I drink the coffee. Okay. I've never turned down coffee in my life. Are you kidding me? But hopefully somebody will eventually bring us a gift.
You're looking for flowers.
How about a box of wine?
Duly noted.
Just a box of wine.
Dave wants flowers, everybody.
Flowers will. So tonight, big night at BridgeValley.
We're so excited.
You're doing
purse raffle.
Purse raffle.
Are you coming?
Possibly.
Great.
You never know where I'll show up.
Well,
is there food?
There will be food.
What kind of food you got?
It looks like heavy appetizers and alcohol.
Actually, that was the name of my third album.
Really?
Heavy Appetizers and Alcohol. Yeah, that's or maybe that'll be my autobiography.
Sounds like fun.
So what's going on here tonight?
So tonight we're doing a purse raffle for our foundation. We are raising money for our Student Opportunity Fund. One of the things that we've seen is that we have students in the community who could be one flat tire away from having to drop out of college. And so it's really important to us that we're able to help our students who need support for things like flat tires so that they can stay in school. We know that that's the best way to help people complete credentials and then get them into the workforce so that they don't need a Student Opportunity Fund anymore. And so we're raising money tonight with a purse raffle. We've gotten 15 purses donated to us that are all kinds of things, from Kate Spade to Valentino to Louis Vuitton. And it looks like it'll be just a lot of fun.
My wife, by the way, is not going to be allowed to come.
Well, I hope she decides that you're wrong.
Like I could tell my wife what she's going to do anyway. If you know my wife, you'll know that's not going to happen. But it does sound like a great time, and the cause is great. I mean, because I don't think sometimes people, a lot of students at various universities and institutions of higher learning have had to scratch and crawl their way to get there anyway. And you folks at BridgeValley, though, do a great job in making it possible for pretty much any student of any age that wants to have a education beyond high school to get it. But some of these folks really struggle to get there.
Yeah, we've been so fortunate in West Virginia. The state has some very generous financial aid for community college students. For a lot of our students, all the tuition and fees end up being paid, and they're just asked to pay for books. And that's incredibly helpful for so many families. It means we're very affordable, and it's something we're very proud of and really want to keep being able to do. But that doesn't mean that stuff doesn't still happen. And so if you're working at a hospital full-time to get your clinical hours and going to school full-time, and you still have kids and you might be working the night shift somewhere so that you can feed them, emergencies happen, and we've all been there. And so it's just really great to see our community rally around students and really want to do everything they can to help keep them in school.
We're talking with Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley. What else is new?
Oh my gosh, so many things are new. I think the fun stuff that's going on right now is that we're just getting geared up for grant season. So different deans are working on different.
When you said grant season, I just had this image of Elmer Fudd, Wabbit season.
It's a lot like hunting season, but for money.
But without all the camo and deer pee.
I mean, we could wear camo.
Okay.
I've got my orange vest.
It is West Virginia.
Right?
It is West Virginia. So tell me about grant season.
So grant season, it means that all of the different deans on campus start prioritizing things that would make our programs better. So for example, we've been starting a Rad Tech program in partnership with WVU Medicine Thomas Hospitals, which is a fabulous partnership because the students will be doing all their Rad Tech clinical training at the hospital. So instead of having to buy all the really expensive X-ray equipment, for example, and have it housed then on campus where it only gets used a few days a week by students in classes, we'll actually use the real equipment that they'll be working on once they get hired by the hospital. So it's terrific in terms of space use. But we've seen that there are some things that we want to have. We don't want the first time they do an X-ray to be if you happen to fall off a ladder and break your leg. We want them to have that experience up front.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff that we've recognized that's expensive and we want to buy that isn't a regular operating expense. So that's when we look to grants.
Talking again with Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you in part by Pinnacle Consultants. Poor indoor air quality can cause a whole bunch of health issues, including allergies, respiratory problems, and more. Pinnacle offers specialized indoor air quality services for residential, commercial, and industrial type settings. Visit pinnaclecorp.net because what you don't know can hurt you. And as we are starting to get into the holiday season, what does that mean at BridgeValley?
Well, for us, back to student support, one of the things that we're doing for Thanksgiving that's one of my favorite events every year is we do something that's called Project Thankful. And so students who have families who need a little bit of extra support sign up. This year we've had 37 different families sign up. And then my team adopts families, and we provide all of the things for a Thanksgiving banquet for those families. So they buy turkeys and stuffing and potatoes and put together giant baskets and then give them to the students who have said that they need a little bit of extra help.
And that's pretty good stuff right there. I mean, and any of these things that we do, I talked about our turkey drop that we're doing next week. None of these things are possible without input from the community. And I know you said that your staff kind of helps, but I'm sure you would welcome in some outside help as well.
We would love that. Really, anyone who wants to support students, we adopt families both at Thanksgiving and at Christmas. The Christmas drives become really fun because the kids, the little kids who are family members of our students will make lists, and then you'll get the list of here's what everybody in the family is hoping for. And I know when I've shopped for those before, I really like being able to go to the toy store. I don't have too many little kids in my life, so it's fun to get to know what's the latest toy, what does somebody want, and then it gets delivered, and it's anonymous. So I don't even know the family that I've bought presents for. But we would love for community members to come in and sponsor.
It would be a great opportunity for, we have a business out there, it's out there, a church or whatever. I mean, you welcome help from all, right?
Absolutely. We love having community support.
Yeah, I mean, and the things that you do out there at BridgeValley are just amazing for the community. I mean, obviously you're all about educating minds, and we appreciate that, and hopefully getting to stay in West Virginia, because that's one of the big things that BridgeValley does. But also just helping out in the community, you guys are everywhere. You guys are doing everything in the community.
Thank you. Everybody really is trying. And I think the idea for us is it's not just the education, it's tying the education to a job. And part of what helps keep people in West Virginia is that we pay a lot of attention to what our local employers say they want, and then we're trying to educate people so that they're ready for those jobs that actually exist here.
And when they come to you, that's one of the things, as I say every time you're on here, Doctor, is anytime that an employer comes to you, it's kind of reversed of what it used to be. Now employers are coming to you and saying, okay, here's what we need. We need students. We need people with this skill set. And then you take your curriculum and you kind of, in a roundabout way, you just kind of, design it based on what the employers say that they need.
That's right. And I would tell students the same thing. I was just talking to a young man in the green room who was saying he might be ready for retirement, and could he do some manufacturing in his retirement? And so I said, start with the employer who you want to go work with. And he said, what about ServiceWire? I said, great. ServiceWire is a fabulous employer. Go talk to them at ServiceWire, figure out what skills they want you to have, and then come to us to get those skills. And then you can go do that job as your retirement job. And he was like, oh, that means I would think to go to school first. And that is where you would get the training, but you really want to start with the end in mind. And that's why talking to employers and talking about what is the job becomes so important.
Well, and in any workplace, the more things you can do, the more valuable you are. But at that having been said, you don't want to, I don't want to say waste your time. That's not the correct word. But you don't want to not spend your time wisely, by studying or maybe a bunch of things that you really, that's not what that employer needs. You can do that on your own, but if you're trying to get this job, this is what they need.
Right. You're never sorry for knowing something. Like, I love Old English literature, but I definitely didn't do that in college because it wouldn't have helped me get a job.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so let's get back to tonight. What time's everything start, and where can people learn more?
Purse raffle is at 7 o'clock at the Advanced Technology Center, Toyota Hall, and you can learn more at bridgevalley.edu.
All right. We will be talking to you several times throughout the holiday season. Wish you the best and wish you success tonight. Thanks a lot.
Thanks so much, Dave.
Dr. Casey Sachs of BridgeValley is here. And again, for anything we talk about, you can always just log on to their website, bridgevalley.edu. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Huston's Pizza. This month, your favorite Huston's, get a large 18-inch pepperoni pizza and a pizzadilla, only $21.99. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses bring first-class businesses to your community.
Bigley Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street has served 3 generations of shoppers since 1955 as the largest locally owned independent grocery store in the area. The Joseph family owners grew up here, so you know they're invested in the community. They provide the biggest variety of choice meats, the freshest produce, an in-house deli bakery, great wine selection, and more of your favorite brands. Every purchase gives you gasoline points so you can save at our pumps. Order online for pickup at BigleyPigglyWiggly.com. Bigley Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street. No one beats the pig.
If you're living with dry age-related macular degeneration or dry AMD, you may be at risk for developing geographic atrophy or GA. GA can be unpredictable and progress rapidly, leading to irreversible vision loss. Now there's something you can do to
slow it down and get it going slower.
Izervay is proven to slow GA progression.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Izervay or avacincaptad pagel is a prescription eye injection used to treat GA. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may temporarily increase eye pressure. Your vision may be impaired after an eye injection or exam. Don't delay. Ask your doctor about Izervay today.
Izervay gets GA going slower.
Visit Izervay.com. That's IZERVAY.com.
Paid for by Estella's Pharma.
Minutes away from 10 Friday edition of the show. Matt Guitar Murphy is our producer today. Bigley Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live, brought to you part by Meeks Realty Group. Rich the Realtor, always happy to take your calls. Still talking about this beautiful home in Scott Depot, 75 Poinsettia Drive, 5,600 square foot home, 6 bedrooms, 2 laundry rooms, full house generator to make sure your power always stays on. Call or text my good buddy Rich the Realtor, 304-932-7488, 304-932-7488. Let him tell you more about this wonderful property. Coming up on Monday's show, Delegate Kathy Hess-Krause is here. Always happy to have Delegate Krause on the show, but she has a particularly amazing story to tell, sort of a project that she's working on. I'll let her go over all the details on Monday, but they found a Purple Heart in Putnam County. It's a great story. And we're hoping it'll have a happy ending. And I got some information about it earlier this week, and I immediately reached out to Delegate Krause. I said, you got to come on the show and talk about it. So she's going to be on the show on Monday. Also, Tony Hodge, who is the vice chair of the state Republican Party, will be on the show Monday as well. Robb Reel from our sister station 96.1 KWS is here. Sir Robert.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
It just dawned on me. I don't know where my Purple Heart is.
Oh, well, maybe did you lose it in a railroad track in Putnam County? Because that's where this was found.
I did not. I mean, it's boxed somewhere, but I have no idea where that box is, what else might be in that.
Rob, I have a ribbon that I got in the social studies fair in 4th grade. Surely to God, my friend, you can come up and find out where your Purple Heart is.
First of all, don't call me Shirley.
Okay, yes.
Secondly, without going too deep, too dark, too quickly, the closing that chapter in my life was very important to me when I separated from the United States Marine Corps in 1996. That is not to say that I had a bad experience. My experience was neither good nor bad. Shakespeare, there's nothing either good or bad, only thinking makes it so. But at that time in my life, I very much needed to close that chapter.
Yeah.
And so everything was packed away. The ribbon portion of my Purple Heart, I know exactly where it is. It is affixed to the one uniform into which I can still squeeze, because on occasion I will don the dress blues and participate in some parades and color guard and that, because that's mostly what I did. So I know where the ribbon portion is, but I don't know the actual Purple Heart itself, the dangly one. I have no idea where that is.
All right. Well, maybe that'll be your next big walk. You can walk to find Robb Reel's Purple Heart.
I'll walk to the Pentagon.
It's out there. It's out there somewhere. All right. So speaking of this walk, I wanted to give you a couple of weeks to kind of catch yourself and make sure that your calves weren't still blazing. So for those who may not remember, because it was all of 2 to 3 weeks ago, and we've had an election since then, and so everything's been wrapped up in that.
The short-term memory of a goldfish. Yes.
All right. So we did our radiothon for WVU Children's, and you had told our listeners that if they got to a certain level, because we were lagging a little bit behind.
You're being kind. I shot my mouth off because I was a little I was cranky. The second morning of our Cares for Kids radiothon, it was cold up in the Hostetler Center. That's the 10th floor of WVU Medicine Children's. I had not had ample caffeine yet. I had not slept in my own bed because staying in Morgantown to do the radiothon. And I looked at the day one numbers, and I don't know what possessed me, but I was a little fired up about it. And I'm like, y'all, if you come through and you beat last year's total, because we're always trying to do better.
Sure,
you beat last year's total, I will walk the check from the Charleston office to Morgantown. I will walk it back here. And I am pleasantly I am humbled but not surprised that West Virginians came through once again for kids here and smashed last year's total. And so if nothing else, I'm a man of my word. My integrity means everything. I so respect the people who may have even been digging in their couch cushions and their cup holders to make those donations, become superstar miracle makers, that I wanted to keep my word. And so I walked my happy self 172 miles from here to 1111 Virginia Street East to One Medical Plaza in Morgantown.
And I checked in with you on the show every day. You were blessed, my friend, by fantastic weather and all of autumn's finery in West Virginia.
Mountain Mama showed off. She gave me great weather the entire 2 weeks.
Not too hot, not too cold. I think you said you had a couple of raindrops, maybe like for an hour or so.
I like 6 raindrops.
Yeah.
And I hyperbole is the best thing ever, but I'm not exaggerating by much. There was one day where it was like drip, and I'd walk another 100 yards, drip. Walk another 100, and that was it. Most days temperatures were either in the 70s or the low 80s, very comfortable, especially dressing in layers. The colors were absolutely gorgeous. If you want to go back and just see that, even if you don't want to recap the whole journey, the 96.1 KWS Facebook page or Instagram, you can just see some of the things I got to see. And fall has fallen on us now. Not that I'm complaining about, leftover showers and 57 today, but that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, it's November.
In mid-November. And the last 2 weeks of October, I got the classic, are we still allowed to call it Indian summer? I don't care. The language police wants to come after me. It's Indian summer, whatever.
I think it's indigenous summer now.
Yes, First Peoples summer. I don't know.
Whatever.
I'm not mocking political correctness. I learned certain things certain ways, and I don't want to change.
Yeah.
It was gorgeous weather, a wonderful reception when I got there on Halloween afternoon. I got to. This may seem silly. After walking 172 miles, what did you do when you got to the hospital, Rob? I went on the staff costume parade to reverse trick-or-treating with the kids. Since many of them can't get up and get out of their beds, we would go to them. And so we brought little trinkets and toys and showed off our costumes and had some fun. So, yeah, after walking 172 miles, what did I do? I walked some more.
I mean, what's another... floor. Yeah. What's another floor?
Yeah,
yeah. Especially, Rob, when you can, and look, you and I are great friends, but, what you did was miraculous. But let's be honest, what those kids are doing puts what you did to shame. And I know that you admit that.
Yeah, I'm the first to say that while I did a thing that is extraordinary and that not many folks could, would, or should do that sort of thing, it pales in comparison to what those kids are going through, what their parents are going through, and what the staff at WVU Medicine Children's does every day, putting their hearts on the line for these kids. So I was, for as tough as it may have been, I think I was the one most blessed by what I got to do. And anytime it got hard, that 200-yard stretch of over a hill, if you know downtown Morgantown, if you know campus, you know exactly where I'm talking about. It's straight up for 200 yards. And as difficult as that may have been, the thing, it's nothing compared to, like a 6-year-old going through chemotherapy, an 8-year-old having to be on a Berlin heart because, through just the way the dice rolled, some weird genetic defect. I bristle at the word miraculous. I recoil from it because I'm just a dude with a big mouth and a big microphone who gets to shout about the big things they do every day at WVU Medicine Children's.
Absolutely. Talking to Robb Reel from our sister station, 96.1 KWS. The Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is brought to you in part by Live Healthy West Virginia, presented by WVU Medicine. Live Healthy tackles pressing health issues of all times. It is a podcast aimed at fostering healthier lifestyles in and beyond the state. Be sure and check out the latest episodes, WVMetronews.com, under the podcast menu, and start your journey towards better health today. By the way, in your absence, while you were gone for that, that couple weeks, whatever, we were planning what we're going to have you do next year. Just so you know, we had an informal meeting. You weren't invited, and myself and Crash from 96.1 KWS and Ashley, and so we sat around and we said, what can we make him do next year? And so with me,
I was married to somebody who had that. Go ahead.
And with you and I, where we're always like kind of, me and you and Animal are always kind of going at each other on different things, whatever. And I got all kinds of plans for you next year.
So let's talk about meetings for a second.
Okay.
A long time ago at a radio station far, far away, actually at several of them, I have been in management, and a couple of places I have been the very tip top of management, where the irony of that is I abhor meetings. And so not only was I having to do all the meetings, but they were my meetings most of the time. So one of the great things about where you and I are here at WVRC Media is we don't end up in a lot of meetings, and the few meetings we end up in are very informal.
Very impromptu sometimes, too.
And one of them was yesterday.
It was.
We got to talking about Christmas parades, all the holiday stuff coming up, and kind of organizing a battle plan. And I particularly enjoyed, we talked about the Ripley Christmas parade. And I've not done that one before. I did not do that one last year. I did not do it the first time I was here. So you were kind of filling me and Crash in on the layout of the Ripley Christmas parade. And he says to me, looks right and says, well, we start at the Kroger's. We start at the Kroger's and we end up at the high school, or is it the other way around?
Other way around. That's the way it was. But
okay.
Yeah.
So start at the high school and then you get to town and you end up at the Kroger's, as we say back home. And he looks right at me and he says, I don't know. It's about a mile from the high school before you ever get to the main road. he says to the guy who just walked 172 miles.
I'm mainly known for my looks and not for my intelligence.
So pretty,
and I'm not known for that either.
So pretty, bless your heart.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I actually talked to Mayor Rader, who's one of my favorite mayors in the world. I got to know her when I worked for in-state government, and Mayor Carolyn Rader. She's been on this show in the past. I actually talked to her before the show this morning, and she's opening up with open arms for us to come up there, and but
well, that's good because I have open mouth.
Yes, you do, as we've already proven. So it's the route's actually going to be. She tells me a little bit different. It's going to be a little bit shorter this year.
Oh well, thank goodness.
Yeah, because
I don't think I was going to make it.
We wouldn't want you to walk, any more than what you have to do. But we're looking forward to being in a lot of these Christmas parades. I know off the top of my head, I know we're doing Charleston, we're doing St. Albans, we're doing Dunbar, we're doing Winfield, we're doing Hurricane.
Ripley, South Charleston,
and it will be a combination of myself, of Matt Murphy will be involved, Animal will be involved, Woody will be in some, Stephen Janney will be in some, Logan will be in some. So we're going to be all over with either.
We love doing this, by the way.
I love it.
As great as these palatial new studios are, and I hear that y'all might be moving back across the breezeway here before too long into the new digs, and then I think I'll be in here or where Matt Guitar Murphy is for a while when they redo mine. As much as we love these new studios, we love being out gripping and grinning, kissing hands and shaking babies. I think that's how that goes. With folks, if we wanted to hide in the studio and not do nothing and just foreign out the door, we would have done something else.
Yeah.
We love doing this.
Well, and sometimes, and I've been doing this for 36 years, you've been doing it for around
39.
Around that time. You sit inside a box and you talk and you don't see anyone other than I have
I'm the man in the box.
Well, I have the luxury of having more guests than what you guys do. You have a lot, but I normally have 2 or 3 a show. And so I get to interact with people, but you forget there are people actually listening to this thing.
Yes. Yeah, I'm lucky to have 2 or 3 a month. Ben Salango was in this morning. We talked about Salango Law Live Tonight, which is beautiful, by the way.
I'm going to talk about that, as a matter of fact, with you, because I know you were there.
Yeah, I snuck my way into the VI preview, and I don't know that I'm all that important, but I got to go in and look around and see the ice skating and the train and the carnival rides. And, of course, if you thought it was spectacular last year, and it was, it's unblinking believable, I think is the way I put it, because it looks like infinitely more lights. I think they doubled the light total from last year.
I think they did. Yeah, that's what Salango and I had Andy Shea on the show yesterday
it's
too.
It's insane. The food is good. The hot chocolate was fantastic. Unleaded, of course.
As far as you know.
As far as I know.
But yeah, it officially opens to the public tonight.
Yes, and goes through New Year's night, and it's brilliant.
Yeah, and I'll say this: I was watching our good friends over at 13 this morning before I came into the studio, and they were doing a live shot, as they call it, with Brian Hughes and also with Ben Salango, County Commissioner, and the namesake of the Salango Law Life Tonight's law firm has that, and Andy Shea, who's the owner of the Dirty Birds, and Andy Shea was rocking this Ric Flair-esque Santa Claus robe kind of a thing, and I took a picture of it, literally took a picture of my TV and texted it to Salango and to Brian Hughes and to Andy and said, I want someone to look at me the way that Ben Salango was looking at Andy's robe, because it was just something to behold. But all right, we got to take a break, and I got some texts I got to get to about you, sir. They found you. They found you. The courts have found you, but I do need to let you know that the Dave Allen Show on 580 Live is presented in part by Generations Physical Therapy. 9 practices, all offering extended hours, so access to physical therapy has never been easier. For an appointment, call 304-760 5660 or visit generationspt.com. Back after this on the Voice of Charleston, WCHS.
Brought to you by the Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses. Eric J. Tarr Family Businesses want to thank you for shopping locally.
Your next fall adventure is just around the corner at Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram in Hurricane. Now, whether you need a vehicle to get the family to the football game, to the pumpkin patch, or up into the mountains to check out the fall colors, Walker has got you covered. We're talking everything from Wrangler, Grand Cherokee, and Gladiator to Ram 1500, 2500, and 3500. Walker has got them all. That's because Gene and Ryan have loaded down the lot with inventory, both new and used, to make sure that you're going to find the perfect vehicle for all of your fall adventures. And And once you find it, you know that you're going to get the best deal possible at Walker too. That's because they built their business the old-fashioned way by making friends. There are no gimmicks or games in Walker, just honest, fair deals. So what are you waiting for? Fall is the season of adventure, and Walker's got the cars, trucks, and SUVs that are going to get you there. Take that short 20-minute drive from Charleston or Huntington to Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, just off the Hurricane exit of I-64. Walker Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram, making friends one deal at a time.
This is J.B. Akers. Thank you for your trust in sending me back to the Capitol as one of your Kanawha County delegates. No matter who you voted for, I'll always work for our whole community with optimism and energy. I'm not asking for your vote today, but if you're so inclined, I would ask for your prayers as we reunite our country and state after the election. This is J.B. Akers, and I am grateful for the privilege of serving you in the place my wife Mary Claire and our 3 wonderful kids call home. Now let's roll up our sleeves and work together to make a better West Virginia. Paid for by J.B. Akers for West Virginia.
Bigley Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street has served 3 generations of shoppers since 1955 as the largest locally owned independent grocery store in the area. The Joseph family owners grew up here, so you know they're invested in the community. They provide the biggest variety of choice meats, the freshest produce, an in-house deli bakery, great wine selection, and more of your favorite brands. Every purchase gives you gasoline points so you can save at our pumps. Order online for pickup at BigleyPigglyWiggly.com. Bigley Piggly Wiggly on Spring Street. No one beats the pig.
For some reason, I was talking and nothing was there. Bigley Piggly Wiggly hotline 304-345-5858. Tony Taylor text 304-935-5008. Robb Reel is here closing out the week. Not anything too serious because you got Robb Reel and I here.
Correct.
But next Thursday, we're axing our listeners, our many listeners, friends, family, so on and so forth, to drop us off some turkeys. The whole thing was kind of your idea. Talk about this.
Our second annual WVRC Media Drive-Through Turkey Drop. Yes, it really is based on the idea Turkeys Away from WKRP in Cincinnati, which was based on a real radio station doing a real promotion. I digress. 7 o'clock Thursday morning until 6 in the evening. It's another chance to help out our friends and neighbors. Everybody deserves, every family, to have a turkey on the table for Thanksgiving. So we have teamed up with Mountain Mission and a whole bunch of other folks for an opportunity for you to drop off a frozen turkey. You won't have to get out of your vehicle. We are glad to take it from you. Give it to Mountain Mission. They will take it from there. Mountain Mission will also warmly accept cash and check donations if that's the way you want to go. I don't have time to go buy another turkey. Or in my case, I live by myself. I don't get a turkey for myself. I'm probably not going to get a turkey for anybody else, but I can give some folding money, which always works. And Mountain Mission will get it into the hands of the folks who need it so that everybody can hopefully have a happy holiday.
And I know all the stations have other sponsors that are helping out. For us here at CHS, it's the folks at Cozumel Express. So we want to give a big shout out to them as well. And we saw this when we did the what did we call it? The sock drop or whatever it was called that we did last year. That was kind of your idea too. Yep. And we were out there and it was cold. It had snowed a couple days before. We were in between those 2 snowstorms, and the WVRC Media listeners of your stations and all the others here in the building really, really showed out for that ride.
I am humbled but not surprised at the way West Virginians show up and show out to take care of our own. It's one of the reasons I came back.
All right. Texas Dave, congratulations, Robb, for the great deed he completed. He shows the West Virginia spirit of determination to finish the job he started. Great job, Robb.
That's all I'm trying to do is reflect everybody else here in the Mountain State.
Texas Dave, this guy's a trip. He should work in radio full time.
I got the face for it.
Never heard that before.
No, that's my side hustle.
All right, Hoppy Kurtzwell coming up. Metro News Talk Line at 10:06. Fred Persinger on the high school playoff mess.
Oh, boy.
Ben Salango, who we talked about earlier on Light the Night, he'll be on the show with Hoppy today. And, of course, it's Friday, which means steam release. Big weekend for the Mountaineers. The football team playing Baylor, basketball team playing Pitt and Marshall, and WVU for the Sun Belt Conference Soccer Championship coming up on Sunday. Mr. Caridi will wax poetically on all those. Robb, it's always a pleasure having the show, man. Appreciate you being here. Thanks a lot.
Sure.
Matt Guitar Murphy was our producer this morning. Thank you so much to him. No high school football tonight, but we do have high school game night anyway with Dave Jacklin and Fred Persinger coming up at 9:30. WVRC Media app, download it. Download the Metro News TV app too. See you Monday. Till then, have fun and love somebody.